क्या लोगे Hey, you started or not? चार मिल गया था ना दोनों एसी ऑन है क्या गर्मी क्यों लग रही है मुझे खिड़कियां बंद तो नहीं खिड़कियां खुली तो नहीं कोई पंखा चला दो रांधे देखो
नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी आशतद्विषतारि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता साधि गौरतवेद श्री हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, संवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम Hare Krishna. So welcome to the next lesson of the ISKCON Disciples course. I'm just wondering why there's a nice gap here in between. Is that some restricted zone there? Looks better. Okay. I would just like to begin on the point where we left off in our last class with the question of Abhinav Prabhu. You remember your question? Can you repeat it, please?
My question was regarding Shiksha Guru. I had a doubt that sometimes some devotees have a conception that Shiksha Guru means their counselor is their Shiksha Guru. And in regarding to this, I quoted one statement which Radheshyam Prabhu makes. Definition of Shiksha Guru is any devotee, any very advanced devotee who is having at least 1,000, you can say, followers, or 1,000 devotees should take inspiration from him. So that is the definition of Shiksha Guru. So how come a counselor can be a Shiksha Guru like that?
Okay, fine. And in reply to that, we showed you the quote of Srila Prabhupada, which basically said that, what was the quote? Huh, Abhinav?
Any advanced devotee.
Yes, so Prabhupada says, when the Diksha Guru is unavailable, then one can take guidance from any advanced devotee, and that's a Shiksha Guru, right? That was the quote we saw from Srila Prabhupada. So we come back to you. So what did you understand from that Prabhupada's quote? We didn't get into details. I just asked you, have you understood? You said yes, right? So what's your understanding? Can you please clarify?
According to Srila Prabhupada's quote, I could understand that Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru is a representative of Diksha Guru, and he is a great advanced soul whom we have to follow.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So what did you understand from that words of Srila Prabhupada? Advanced devotee, advanced devotee. So what's your understanding?
Advanced is a like very broad term.
So what's your understanding?
My understanding is like he should be above, at least he should be above 3 modes.
Uh-huh.
That is a definition of advanced, because if someone is not above 3 modes, then he, or 4 defects, then he may commit
Bhagavad Gita.
mistakes.
Bhagavad Gita 7:14. अरे हिंदी वाला है, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, हिंदी में पढ़ेंगे. But anyway, since it is an English course, it would be better to have an English one. Go to the end of the book. Okay, so as per your understanding, an advanced devotee is one who is free from the influence of 3 modes, right? Okay. This is the purport to the 7th chapter, 14th verse, famous verse, Deveshu Gunamam Mammayadurtya. The last paragraph of the purport. We already read it, but in the context of our discussion, we're reading it again. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna only and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated, please listen to this carefully. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajagun and Tamagun to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. So, as per your definition, there's only one advanced devotee. Who's that? Vishnu. Is that what you think Prabhupada is referring to? Huh? Okay. So therefore, a correct understanding of this point is very important. Otherwise, we could have so many fancy understandings of who is an advanced devotee. Whether it be Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. We would also like to remind you of the quotes which we have already read before. Right in the 2nd lesson. I would like to read 2 quotes. You can go to page 18. And this is the 4th quote there. The spiritual master who initiates according to the regulations of the Shastras is called Diksha Guru. And the spiritual master who gives instructions for elevation is called the Shiksha Guru. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is direct verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's not purport also. It's a direct verse. The spiritual master who gives instructions for elevation is called Shiksha Guru. Go to page 12. The initiating and the instructing spiritual masters are equal. The guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. Every word and every statement has to be understood properly. We're coming to that. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Sri Sri Kalyana Kalpataru. But I consider the numerous instructing spiritual masters, in brackets, Shiksha Gurus, to be very important, for they show unlimitedly more mercy by training the neophyte devotees in all the essential aspects of practical devotional service, sadhana bhakti. And the quote before that, no limit to the number of instructing spiritual masters. I first offer my respectful obeisance in the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual masters. And in the purport, a devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. Does this clarify something? To put it in simple, practical terms, Diksha Guru is one. Shiksha Gurus can be how many? Unlimited Shiksha Gurus. And the definition is very clear. Anyone who's instructing us in how to progress in devotional service is a Shiksha Guru. And they can be unlimited Shiksha Gurus. We also clarified a point from the writings of Shivram Maharaj, where he does classify Shiksha Gurus into committed and non-committed. So the committed could be one who, on behalf of the Diksha Guru, takes responsibility for the devotee. There is commitment, there is accountability. and that could be one on behalf of the Diksha Guru. If the Diksha Guru wants that, then he could appoint, or if the disciple wants one, then with the permission of the Diksha Guru, then he could have one Shiksha Guru to whom he is committed, accountable. Is this clear so far? If there are any questions, we don't mind have just clarification of these points in this class today. The next lesson is short. We could cover it up later on, but we want clarification of basic concepts. Yes, Dharamveer. Pass on the mic, please.
Hare Krishna Guruji, we have heard earlier that Shiksha Guru must be on the platform of equal level of means like Diksha Guru in realizations and other things. So basically,
Can you please give reference?
just like maybe means like Param Pujya Radhanand Maharaji, maybe Diksha Guru of somebody, and
No, I didn't ask for examples. I asked reference to what you said.
I have not read it, but
Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, 3 praman. You have to give either one of the 3 praman
Sadhu.
for us to accept.
Sadhu, once our senior devotees have instructed, it's like Gurmat Abuji was saying once time that it's like the Shiksha Gurus, just like Radhasambu is very senior devotee. He can
Please
be.
don't take any names, okay, in this class. Please don't take any names. That's the etiquette. No names should be taken.
So basically, senior devotees, those who are on level, so they can be Shiksha Gurus.
Okay. I will repeat. I will keep on repeating what the Shastra says. So, where's that? Okay. I'm reading the same quote again on page number 12. The Guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. And in the quote below, instructing spiritual masters are called what? Shiksha Gurus. You can see that in the quote below, instructing spiritual masters in brackets, Shiksha Gurus. So somebody kindly repeat the definition of a Shiksha Guru as per the Shastra that we have just read. Somebody can repeat what's the definition of a Shiksha Guru? Yes, Guru, take the mic and repeat. Give a precise definition of who is a Shiksha Guru.
The spiritual masters who gives instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Good. Is it clear now?
There it is mentioned spiritual master.
Masters.
Spiritual masters.
Read it. Why are you asking? Read first.
Yeah, I mean to say that in ISKCON we consider spiritual masters those who are Uttam Adhikaris. Like.
Now you're bringing another point. First of all, is the definition of a Shiksha Guru clear?
Yeah, it is.
Yes or no? Anyone has any clarification on who is a Diksha Guru and who is a Shiksha Guru? Abhinav.
My small clarification I want on like the word you used, committed Shiksha Guru, and that one senior devotee is there to whom we are accountable and he has taken our responsibility. So,
on behalf of the Diksha
on
Guru.
behalf of Diksha, yes, please. So now regarding his advancement, what should be the level of his advancement? Means he can be on the level of our counselor or
okay, so
even
so you're having 2 concepts. One is a counselor and one is a Shiksha Guru. So So that means the counselor is not the Shiksha Guru as per your understanding.
He may be or
He may not. Okay.
depends on his advancement. That's is my question. Sometimes devotees, initially I also had this when I was in voice that my counselor is my Shiksha Guru. So, but later on I could understand that Shiksha Guru
That he is not the Shiksha.
Yes. And sometimes devotees think that their facilitator is their Shiksha Guru, or the person who brings them in Krishna consciousness. So,
Okay, let me ask you a question. As per the definition that we just read, if you want, keep the definition in front of you for constant reference. As per that definition, is your facilitator, whomever you call facilitator, is he a Shiksha Guru?
No.
Read the definition.
Yeah, he's a Shiksha Guru.
Are you convinced?
Yes, but not committed. Committed.
That's a different. We'll come to that. Committed, non-committed. That's different. Okay, so is as per the definition, is your counselor Shiksha Guru?
Yes.
And there could be some other senior advanced devotees who may give some occasional guidance. You know, some senior devotees come to your temple, some sannyasis, you go and meet them, you ask some questions, clarifications, and you get some clarifications, you may get some instructions. Are they Shiksha Gurus?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. So now this point being clear, everyone is clear? We are proceeding step by step. Okay. Okay, yes. Give the mic to other.
Puji, the below statement is there, page number 12.
Yeah.
That the initiating and instructing spiritual masters are.
I'm coming to that, Prabhu. I'm coming to that. You're talking about another aspect of dealings, right?
No, equal. It is telling it.
Yes, yes.
Equal.
Puji, okay.
Equal means they are equal in their realizations or the.
Okay. Actually, you're going one step ahead. I'll come to that point. Okay, just hold on. I'm going very systematically and very much step by step. And Hari Kripa Prabhu, I think, so wants to give us some instructions.
I think as far as if a devotee is initiated, there is no doubt, because Diksha Guru may appoint someone to act on his behalf, and then he has to follow that. But I think these devotees have a question regarding when they don't have a Diksha Guru. They are newcomers. So whom can they accept as formal person to whom they are accountable, and who can be considered the others? Okay, that is exactly their question.
Okay, fine. I come back to the same points. So whether it is facilitator or counselor, are they authorized by some authorities or no? So if they are authorized, are we accountable to them or no? Harikar Babu, is that okay? Any doubts? Anybody comes whimsically and says, from tomorrow I'm the counselor. All of you surrender at my lotus feet. Anybody comes like that? I don't think so, at least in this setup. Correct? They're all appointed, right? Authorized, isn't it? So if they are appointed, authorized, then we become accountable, isn't it? Okay, good.
They are authorized. Now the second question they are asking is whether he is equal to the spiritual master or not.
That's the next. Yeah, that's the next question. I'm coming to that.
Because how much shall we surrender to him?
Yes, yes.
He is 5% advanced, then I should send only 5%.
Okay, fine. We're coming to that. Don't worry. Okay, he wants to add to the question. What's your name, Prabhu? Huh? Avil. Okay.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to know that, if that Shiksha Guru is not authorized, but he's giving giving instruction to progress in our spiritual.
Can you give an example of someone who's not authorized yet gives instructions?
like Prabhuji, uh, like means suppose some pious family is there, and pious family is there, and means they mother and father they give samskaras to child.
No, we are not talking about that. We are talking about devotee scenario. We are not talking about that. We are talking in this context. You could call them Shiksha Gurus or remote Shiksha Gurus. You could call them, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about proper devotee scenario. Okay, so everyone is devotees, chanting 16 rounds, 4 regular principles, all that. Okay, we're talking about that scenario. Fine. Okay, so everyone is clear with the definitions first? Clear with the definitions? Good. Now we go to the next point. The next point is, as Madhav Prabhu is pointing out, the initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna. Let's stop at that point before we go to the rest of the sentence. They're equal and identical manifestations of Krishna. Why? Why are the equal and identical manifestations of Krishna?
Because instructing spiritual master is presenting Krishna consciousness or instructions as per Diksha Guru as it is.
Okay, fine. Somebody would like to just make it reframe that sentence. Samitu?
Both represent Guru Tattva.
Both represent Guru Tattva. Very good. And what do? Okay, somebody already said it. And they repeat the same message of Krishna. And we already said, message of Krishna is non-different from? So because they are simply repeating the message of Krishna, therefore, will it ever happen? Shiksha Guru says something which Krishna has not said, or Shastra has not said, Diksha Guru says something else. Does it happen like that? No. Both of them simply repeat the message of Krishna. And that message of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Therefore, they are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna. Is this point clear? Any doubts? Go ahead, Madhav. Don't ask about the rest of the sentence. We have not yet come to that.
Suppose here they may not be equal on their spiritual understanding or realizations. Like one may be at power platform, other may be like.
No, we have not got into that discussion. We have not got into that discussion of their spiritual advancement. My simple question is the message that they speak, is it Krishna's message or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. If it is Krishna's message, is it different from Krishna or non-different from Krishna?
Non-different from Krishna.
That is why equal and identical manifestations of Krishna. Clear so far? Yes? Okay. We will proceed. Okay. And I know what you are looking for, but we want to go systematically. The next part of the statement is, although they have different dealings, they are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, but they have different dealings. The dealings of the Shiksha Gurus with the disciples with the Shiksha Gurus and Diksha Gurus cannot be identical. There is going to be a difference. There is going to be a difference. Why? Can somebody say what sort of difference in dealings could be there? Okay, go ahead.
Diksha Guru takes the responsibility to take us back to Godhead,
Yes.
and Shiksha Guru may not take the responsibility.
Yes, very good. That's the fundamental difference. The fundamental difference is the Diksha Guru takes responsibility on behalf of Krishna. On behalf of Krishna. He is simply the carrier of Krishna's mercy. That we already read from Prabhupada's purports. Krishna is the only deliverer. But on behalf of Krishna, the Diksha Guru takes responsibility and the disciple becomes accountable to the Diksha Guru. So there is a very committed relationship between the Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru. And the disciple. The Shiksha Guru may or may not take that responsibility. He may take the responsibility if he is instructed by the Diksha Guru to take that responsibility on his behalf. If the Shiksha Guru is instructed to take the responsibility, then he may take that responsibility. If he is not instructed, then he doesn't take the responsibility. Then his business is only to give Shiksha. And therefore, because the Diksha Guru is taking that grave responsibility, so therefore, he naturally attracts more faith, devotion, and respect from the disciple. That is natural. And so therefore, the disciple may have more respect and more faith in the Diksha Guru than in the Shiksha Gurus. And so therefore, then his dealings, his reciprocation will vary because there is a fundamental difference in faith and respect. Is this clear so far? Go ahead. Pass the mic here.
Means Fuji, disciple may be possible that he is fully surrendered to Diksha Guru and he cannot be fully surrendered to Shiksha Guru. Like
possible. As we discussed yesterday, that there are the three shelters, Srila Prabhupada, the Diksha Guru, and the Shiksha Gurus. There are the three shelters. And how much shelter one takes of each of them may vary. Of course, we also clarified the points that both Shiksha and Diksha Gurus are simply supposed to repeat the message of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's position for every devotee is definitely very unique. Right? That point is definitely clear. At the same time, there could be difference, or sometimes there may not be difference also. Sometimes Shiksha Gurus also may be very elevated and may be very senior and advanced and may command a lot of faith and respect. And so therefore, then a disciple could have equal shelter, may take equal shelter of Diksha and Shiksha Guru. That is also possible. So there could be some difference. It all depends on what's the level of faith and trust. It all depends on that. What's the level of faith and trust? But in most cases, as a general rule, in most cases, because we already made the point that a disciple is listening to many Shiksha Gurus, and then because he develops faith and trust in one, therefore he decides to take initiation, isn't it? Because he has developed that faith, trust, inspiration, therefore he has decided to take Diksha from one of those Vaishnavas. And so therefore it is natural that he has maximum faith, trust, and devotion to the Diksha Guru. It is natural. And he may not have that same level with other Shiksha Gurus. That's the usual scenario because that's natural. Point clear? Go ahead. Push the mic.
As you told Broji that the Diksha Guru will give permission or he will appoint someone. So if Shiksha Guru is also taking the responsibility and then they will have the same dealings or like.
He may take responsibility, but yet he is taking responsibility on behalf of the Diksha Guru. It's not that he becomes the sole responsible person, right? He's taking on behalf of the Diksha Guru. And so therefore, then depends on the disciple. Now, all these things cannot be legislated. Faith, trust, love, devotion, all these are totally individual. You can't legislate them. You can't say that you have to have 50% faith in Diksha Guru, 40% faith in Shiksha Guru, something like that. You can't legislate these things. It evolves very naturally based upon relationships. You get the point? But as I already made the point that it is but natural because a disciple by his own voluntary discretion has agreed to surrender to the Diksha Guru. Therefore, it is but natural that he is going to have maximum faith, respect, and devotion towards the Diksha Guru. And of course, if Diksha Guru has appointed someone else to represent him, then yes, then as the relationship develops, then he could also develop a good amount of respect and faith for the Shiksha Guru. But it may not be that it comes to the equal platform. But seeing him as a representative of the Diksha Guru, then he should try and develop a good level of trust, faith, and respect for him.
This like this appointment or like, so is it, if it is done by system, then also it is bona fide or authorized for becoming committed Shiksha Guru? Or
so what system are you talking about?
Like we have in our ISKCON scenario, like
yes, in most cases, it is the Diksha Guru who appoints the Shiksha Gurus if he wants to have a system like that. If the Diksha Guru wants the system, then he can have the system. Or a local temple could have a system of authorized Shiksha Gurus. You could call them counselors, mentors, whatever you want to call them.
Local temple that if they are arranging, then that is also authorized.
Yes, because it is coming from authority. It is coming from authority, so it is authorized. Clear? Somebody else had a hand up. Is the point clear so far? Okay. And so, therefore, seeing the Shiksha Gurus as representatives of the Diksha Guru, or if one does not have a Diksha Guru, one could consider them as representatives of Srila Prabhupada, representatives of the Parampara, and one could follow their instructions because they are repeating the same message of Krishna. And of course, it does not mean that they will not make mistakes. We have just mentioned who is free from the three modes. So when there is influence of three modes, what is going to be the result? Some mistakes. When there's influence of three modes, there is going to be mistakes. And therefore, we have the check and balance system. What is that? For that purpose. Check and balance system is always there. So therefore, one should not have an unduly high expectation, unrealistic expectation from both Shiksha and Diksha Gurus. One should have a realistic expectation. And within the history of our society, we have seen both extremes. One extreme is Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, he's God. Or at least one thinks he should be like God. And so there can never be any question of any mistakes on any level. Everything he says, everything he does has to be 100% perfect. And if there cannot be any question of any mistake, that's one extreme. And so if there is any mistake that's done, whether it is in management or he forgets a verse in between the class or anything like that, then what's wrong? Have I surrendered to the right person? And if the guru leaves, then the whole crowd follows behind. Because faith is entirely on one person and no one else. And something happens to that one person, total faith is disturbed. And without this one person, I cannot practice devotional service. So if he leaves, I have to follow him. It has happened again and again within our society. That's one extreme. Therefore, I made the point. Have realistic expectations. Understand that everyone in this material world is under the influence of three modes, including Brahma and Shiva, what to speak of anyone else. And therefore, there is always a possibility of some mistakes, maybe unintentional, but there is a possibility. And when there are mistakes, it's not that one is too bewildered, too surprised, or becomes too critical. One should understand that it is possible. This is material worlds. And so therefore, the check and balance system is there. The other extreme, well, okay, now I have understood. Everyone is under the influence of three modes, so I cannot put faith and trust on anyone. Then whom to put faith in? My mind, of course. My best friend since time immemorial. That's the other extreme. So yes, we understand everyone is under the influence of three modes, yet they are trying to become free from that influence. They're sincerely practicing devotional service. And if they are repeating the same message of Krishna, they may be imperfect, but the message is perfect. and they have been authorized to do that service. Clear so far? Yes or no? A very feeble yes. Okay, go ahead.
Like we discussed that everyone is under the influence of three modes, but we also hear that as one practices devotional service, then at one point of time he becomes liberated from three modes, Saguna, Samadhi, Triyatan. So in that case, Proji, that devotee is not under the influence of three modes.
You know what is that point? You know what's that point at which one is liberated from three modes?
When he becomes Brahman realized.
Within the 9 stages of bhakti. You know the 9 stages of bhakti? Within those 9 stages, which is the stage at which one becomes free from the influence of the modes? Anyone? Bhava. At the stage of bhava, one starts becoming free from the influence of modes. Bhava. Very common, right? What we just read, what Prabhupada said. What did Prabhupada say just now? Yes. Even Brahma and Shiva are not free from influence. Not so easy. But yet, we already made the points. Who's a liberated devotee? He may not be on the liberated platform, but if he's sincerely following the liberated devotee, he is on the liberated platform. Yeah? Hare Krishna.
The question may come to mind whether, like Prabhupada said, follow the GBC. So first part is whether the temple is authorized by GBC, or the second part is any devotee within temple, is he authorized by temple? How one devotee can come to know?
Well, the first question seems to be almost irrelevant. Whether the temple is authorized by GBC. Of course, I understand your point, because there could be some cases where some preaching is happening without authorization. So, of course, one could always confirm from authorities. One could also always confirm from authorities whether that's, I think so, that's not so common, fortunately. All right. As far as your second question is, as far as this person who's guiding me is authorized or not, that's the second part, right? Whether this person is authorized, then if it's a temple situation, you ask the temple authorities. Ask the temple authorities whether this person is authorized to guide me or is not authorized, or he's whimsically doing things. Find out. Very simple. All right. Somebody else had a question? Go ahead.
You tell that those who guide, those who help in elevating us, they are Shiksha Gurus. But there are many different level of Shiksha Gurus, like facilitator, counselor, and above there. So the respect to them are the same or different?
What do you think?
Different will be there.
As we already made the points, everything depends on the level of faith, trust, devotion that we have for that person. And on that basis, there are going to be natural. So anyone who's helping us, any problem? Okay. So anyone who's helping us in our practice of devotional service, we should be grateful, we should respect at all levels. That should be a common Vaishnav attitude and behavior. We respect everyone. We are grateful to anyone who helps us. But yet, based upon that relationship, then there are going to be some natural differences. But yet, because they are authorized, they're appointed, so therefore, if they are in the capacity to give us instructions, then we should respect their instructions. We need to follow. And if there are doubts, we clarify. All right? Somebody else? Yes, somebody else? Okay, before that.
So, like, even we accept Diksha Guru, and like, even if they are very elevated, still they are not free from modes and they can commit mistakes. But it is surely there that they will commit very less mistakes.
Mistakes, of course, mostly on a material platform, right? So not on the spiritual platform in terms of the spiritual understanding. Because that is, they are repeating the message of Krishna. If they're simply repeating, there cannot be any mistakes in that message. On a material platform, yes, there could be some mistakes. All right? Behind.
Yes, Prabhuji, many gurus are repeating the message of Krishna, but their purports are different on this message.
That's
So,
interesting.
Can
you please elaborate? Can you give a purport to your statements?
Outside ISKCON, that's just Mayavadi.
Say that again.
Mayavadi guru.
We are not talking about Mayavadi. We are still in ISKCON, Prabhu.
Like, can we think that they are also representing Krishna?
What do you think? What do you think?
They are not perfectly representing.
Yes, your understanding is correct. They are absolutely not representing Krishna. We are talking about authorized Vaishnavas within Vaishnav Sampradayas.
The online devotees asking question. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as you quoted the purport 7.14 that even Shiva and Brahma are also not free from modes, but Srila Prabhupada multiple times quoted that even a neophyte devotee easily becomes free from clutches of modes of nature. Then forget neophyte, even devotees at the level of position of Guru fall down to lower modes. How will you justify it?
Yes,
based on reasonable logic and Srila Prabhupada's teachings.
Yes, we've already clarified the point. As long as he is connected, then he's on the liberated platform. The moment the connection is lost,
till he's connected.
Yes.
Another devotee is asking, Shiksha Guru may be authorized or may not be authorized. Is it so, Prabhuji?
No. He has to be authorized.
Shiksha Guru must be authorized.
Yes,
okay.
Must be authorized.
Another devotee is asking, can parents be called as Shiksha Guru?
As long as they're devotees.
If they are devotees, parents can be called Shiksha Guru.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
In this, like as we know, Guruji, that Diksha Guru is one, and he cannot be changed or like that.
Yes, unless he falls down, deviates, and things like that. We'll come to that discussion later.
But in case of Shiksha Gurus, is it bona fide that like if some Shiksha Guru is guiding, and then he leaves, or
he leaves where?
He like deviates or falls down. He leaves Krishna consciousness, or the system changes. Like
okay, they change the Shiksha Gurus. Okay.
Yeah. So like in these cases are bona fide to take shelter of another Shiksha Guru.
Yes. That applies even to Diksha Guru. Of course, Diksha Guru, the case is slightly different. That discussion will come to later on. But in the case of Shiksha Gurus, definitely, yes. If something happens to the Shiksha Guru, deviates, falls down, whatever, then yes, one can accept another Shiksha. No problem.
And if a system is also changing the Shiksha Guru, that also is bona fide. There is no
Yes,
problem.
if authorities are doing it, fine. If the authorities are changing the Shishya Gurus for whatever reason they know, then fine. Then accept whoever has been appointed.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. One last on the topic.
Prabhuji, what is the correct understanding of advanced devotee?
Good. We were exactly going to enter into that topic. So now, talking about advancements. Okay, we are referring to Nectar of Instruction as given by Rupa Goswami and purported by Srila Prabhupada. Right at the beginning of Srila Prabhupada's purport to text 5, Srila Prabhupada defines Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. Okay, and I'm just reading those definitions. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. I repeat. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. Next, Madhyamadhikari. A Madhyamadhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Spiritual initiation usually refers to the second initiation. Okay, so Madhyamadhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyamadhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadhikari, or the highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. What are his symptoms? An Uttamadhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean, and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat or perfect Vaishnav are most desirable. All right? Further down the purport, Prabhupada writes, when a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master. I'm repeating this point. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Okay? Who should be offered obeisances? Initiated and? Yes, he is engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnav should be accepted as an Uttam Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Let's see how many of you remember the symptoms of the Uttamadhikari as Prabhupada has just mentioned in this statement. Somebody can recollect? Bolo? Not blaspheme others. No, here he has not said that. In this statement, he has said that before, agreed. But in this statement, he has not said that. Abhinav? Of course, he didn't say 4 regulative principles. He says all the regulative principles, which means basically 64 items of bhakti.
Chanting 16 Hare Krishna Mamantra 16 notes on beats.
Of course, he doesn't say 16 notes. He says prescribed number, which for us is 16, of course.
And always thinking to spread the Krishna consciousness movement.
Yes, and one more is remaining. Huh? Yes, good. Very seriously engaged in devotional service. So there are 4 qualities of the Uttamadhikari Prabhupada is mentioning here. Very seriously engaged in devotional service, strictly following all the regular principles, rules, regulations, chanting 16 rounds, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Now, each of you individually think, how many Vaishnavas you know who fit into this category? All of you have thought? You have thought? So how many, any volunteers would like to say, how many Vaishnavas do you think fit into this category, these 4 characteristics Prabhupada is saying? Just say the number. How many number do you know? Harigabru, you have some online answer? Oh, that's, no, we're not. How many Vaishnavas you know who fit into this category? Okay, so many. Okay, so many. Somebody else? Huh? Okay, at least 6, 7. Good. Somebody else? Huh? 10. Okay. Somebody else? Bolo. Okay, 1. Okay. Raise hands and say, Shamras. Can you specify a number? Yes.
Around 50.
Okay, 50. Okay, fine. Okay, somebody else? Yes, bro. More than 1,000. Good. Good. More than 1,000. Good. Somebody else? Now I'll ask everyone to say, if you don't say. Tell soon. अरे बोलो ना, बोलने में क्या है? हाँ बोलो. More than 10. More than 10 could be unlimited also. Huh? All the ISKCON devotees, that's a few million. Huh? Huh? 6, 7. Huh? 20. Huh? 100. 500. पीछे कोई तो बोलो. 10. What do you say, bro? 1,000. What's that? Special privileged youth preachers.
More than 1,000, 10, 15. Anyone who follows Srila Prabhupada teaching.
So you got your answer about advancement. Who is advanced? This is Prabhupada's definition of an Uttamadhikari. So therefore, you see, Prabhupada is giving such a practical, down-to-earth understanding of who is an Uttamadhikari. Because there is no, or there are no other criteria to judge. Do you have any barometer to judge? Like thermom put in the mouth or here somewhere? How much? Anybody has got, or engineers are trying to invent something? Huh? Samir Prabhu, you're inventing something. Huh? There is no barometer to judge spiritual advancement. There is no barometer. Huh? First of all, a devotee should think, the first question a devotee should ask is, who am I to judge? That should be our first question. What is my qualification to judge? What is my adhikar to judge another Vaishnava? That should be our first question. So, and the second question is, what are my parameters to judge? So if at all you want parameters, these are the parameters. How one is seriously engaged in devotional service, how one is sincerely and regularly chanting the holy names, how one is trying to spread the movement. These are the parameters that you can see. There's nothing else you can see. How one is seriously, to summarize, if you want to summarize, how one is seriously engaged in devotional service under instruction of spiritual master. That is all what can be observed. That's all. Therefore, Prabhupada is giving such a practical understanding. There is no other way. What is one's level of realization? What is one's level of God consciousness and God realization? What is the level of spiritual progress? All these are very subtle, abstract. Of course, they are manifested in terms of seriousness in practice. They are manifested in terms of seriousness in practice. That's all what can be seen. How one is seriously engaged in devotional service. That's what can be observed. But there is no parameter to exactly, what do you say, calibrate. 10% advancement, 20%, 25, 21 point. There's no barometer like that. You can get a rough idea. Okay, somebody is serious, somebody is more serious. So you can get some rough idea. These are the parameters. Therefore, the important and very important lesson is it is best never to judge a Vaishnava. There is no need to get into such critical analysis. Yes, we should, some discrimination is required. Some discrimination is required, as the Bhagavatam explains, third canto Lord Kapila explains. Some discrimination is required. So if even a devotee is too much influenced by the lower modes, not practicing seriously, then yes, it's good to keep a little distance. But among seriously practicing Vaishnavas, there is no need to make critical analysis. Now, if you talk about Diksha Gurus, we have, say, 100 plus Diksha Gurus within ISKCON. Now, all of them have already been analyzed. They have their conduct, their behavior, their practices has all been studied by senior Vaishnavas, the authorities. and then they have been allowed to do that service. That has already been taken care. Therefore, all those who are authorized gurus or Vaishnavas who are performing the service of being a Diksha Guru, we are talking about Diksha Guru. So anyone within ISKCON who has been given that service of Diksha Guru, we understand that he's authorized, he's in good standing, and so we don't have to take into consideration whether he's advanced, not advanced. No. There's reasonably good advancement and steadiness in practice. Therefore, he has been given that service. We need not get into more analysis of that. What I need to know then is whether I am inspired by him. That's my totally individual relationship, which is very often inspired by Krishna from within. As Prabhupada says, by mercy of Krishna, one gets Guru, and by mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna. So, by Krishna's grace, if I am inspired, inspiration means, as you may have already studied yesterday evening's class, not inspired by how he sings or how he dances or something like that. But then inspiration means how he's inspiring me in my devotional practices, in my Krishna consciousness. Is he inspiring faith? Is he instilling faith in the process of devotional service? That's the only criteria which I need to consider. Otherwise, all the other criteria have been taken care by the authorities. And I don't have to get into critical analysis of spiritual advancement. And the same principle applies even to Shiksha Gurus. So, if they have been appointed, if they have been authorized, then I understand that they are at a reasonable level to do that service as facilitator, counselor, whatever. Those parameters have been taken into consideration before they're given that service by the authorities. Otherwise, why they're given that service? So I don't have to get into so much of analysis on that. They are authorized, they have been given the service, fine. Then amongst them, whoever inspires me, accept. That's all. Is this point about advancement clear? Samir Prabhu, you had something?
In Chetan Chaitamrita definition come that one who always chant is Madhyamadgari, one whose presence inspires others to is Uttamadgari. And for that definition, then they difference in.
Okay, apparently there appears to be a difference. But then, so somebody who is seriously engaged in devotional service, then people could be inspired by him to chant the holy names.
Is the one whose presence is inspired. In that comes Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Haridas Thakur, his present prostitute also started chanting. In that category, comes only Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other seniors.
Okay, fine. So, okay. Now, your point is correct. That's a Shastric definition. Yet, Prabhupada is given a practical definition for ISKCON devotees especially. There's a practical definition for ISKCON devotees. Yet, if you want to stick to your definition or the Shastra's definition, as per in that context, if you want to stick to that, can that definition apply to Srila Prabhupada? Same in mind.
Yes.
Definitely, right? Are we followers of Srila Prabhupada?
Yes, it can be applied.
Huh? Are we followers of Srila Prabhupada?
Yes.
Yes, right?
But are we 100% following?
What?
Are we 100% following?
That's a different story. As long as we are, as long as we're chanting 16 rounds, trying to follow various rules and regulations, we may not be 100% following, but at least we're trying, right? At least we're trying. And so, when we are preaching, we see, even now, we see in youth preaching voice scenarios, somebody who is, say, practicing for 2-3 years, he goes out and preaches, right? Yes or no? I don't know so much about youth preaching, so I'm asking. Yes or no? Yes. Somebody who's practicing for 2-3 years goes out preaching. And then what happens? Huh? What happens?
New devotees came.
New devotees come, right? New devotees come. So after 2-3 years, that means he has become so advanced that by his preaching, new people are getting attracted to Krishna.
Not only by his preaching, but he connected to them to other seniors.
That's exactly true. But he is going and preaching, right? And then people are coming. Why? Why?
But the message he is carrying is perfect.
Because it is coming from
Parampara.
the perfect source, the connection. The connection gives the potency. So the person may not be an Uttamadhikari, but he is connected to an Uttamadhikari, and he gets the potency from there. Right? And he will get the potency as long as he follows these things, what Prabhupada is writing. So therefore, he may not be Uttamadhikari, but the connection to the Uttamadhikari gives him that potency. So even if you want to say that current Shiksha and Diksha Gurus may not be Uttamadhikaris, but definitely they are connected to the Uttamadhikari, Srila Prabhupada. And therefore we made the point clear yesterday, those 3 shelters are absolutely necessary for every devotee within ISKCON. Which 3 shelters? Srila Prabhupada, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Because even if one considers that the Shiksha and Diksha Gurus are not so advanced, maybe they're not Uttamadhikaris, but their connection to the Uttamadhikari Srila Prabhupada makes them potent. And of course, the devotee himself has a direct connection to the Uttamadhikari Srila Prabhupada. And so therefore, every devotee within our society is definitely taking shelter of an Uttam Adhikari Mahabhagat. If you think that that's the qualification required to make spiritual progress. Any other questions?
Devotee is saying that it is very important question for him. Therefore, I'll read it out. Comparing our whole parampara. Another mic here. Comparing our whole parampara in last 50 years of ISKCON, then in our parampara, hardly gurus have fallen. But in
repeat that, please.
Before 50 years, hardly gurus have fallen down. But in ISKCON, last 50 years, many times, many gurus fell down. So how a spiritual seeker can put his firm faith in such system of gurus? Why not to ultimately take Srila Prabhupada as Niranjan Swami Maharaj did? He never met Prabhupada and is still practicing, and he's under the vigilance of GBC. Same way, if one wants to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and ready to live in temple guidance and vigilance, then how he will be authorized as per the ISKCON protocols or not? He didn't want to take basically, I think, Diksha. He wants to follow Prabhupada and live within temple, I think.
We already discussed the points. As Rupa Goswami says, the first anga of bhakti, adau guru padashray. One has to, and we had the whole discussion on the importance.
You already, I think, clarified right now. You told that he's connected, connection.
And we also discussed the importance of accepting living Diksha Gurus. We had that whole discussion. So, I mean, that's already clarified. Now, regarding the other points that he has raised, that in 50 years, okay, some gurus have fallen down. Before that, they never fell down. Reference. I want a reference for that.
Okay, so his former statement that before 50 years, no guru fell down, he has to give a reference.
Yes, that statement, how much it holds true, he has to give a reference.
I think he does not know. So
then why speculates?
So this devotee should not speculate.
Yes.
Then
fine. All right.
Yes, he's also raised about Niranjan Maharaj, reference he's giving, I think. Niranjan Maharaj never met Prabhupada, and he's still practicing.
Okay.
And he's under the vigilance of GBC. So similarly, can I also take shelter of Prabhupada? And
no, but Niranjan Maharaj, he's got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, right?
Okay, so Niranjan Maharaj got initiated by Prabhupada, and this devotee is not initiated by Prabhupada. Therefore, he must accept the Guru.
Yes, he must accept the living Diksha Guru now.
Now.
Yes. Yes, Dharamveer.
Prabhuji, can you please explain this Adhikari and this Bhakta, Kanishta Bhakta and...
What's your reference?
Yesterday you were talking about there is difference between...
Okay, whatever it is. So what's your reference?
I don't understand.
So you're saying there is Adhikari and Bhakta. You're saying two things, right? Do you have a reference for it?
I don't know what is this, but...
Yes, so therefore, we follow what Srila Prabhupada said here. Srila Prabhupada has just used the terms Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari. That's all. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, like as you told, we don't have to judge that who is at what level of advancement. We just have to see from whom we are getting inspiration.
Right.
So then these definitions of Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari is given in Shastras. So this is for what
for
purpose?
Me. For me. Essentially.
For me.
For my practice. To know at what level I am and whether I'm making progress by the symptoms that have been mentioned. That is the essential purpose. And of course, as far as association is concerned, then some discrimination is required. So if somebody is having too much Kanishta tendencies, Kanishta Adhikari, now this is another point which needs to be clear. Of course, we have this whole discussions and details when we discuss necroconstruction. But in any case, another thing which needs to be clear is that Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari, they're not boxes. It's not that just like you have classrooms, one classroom, Kanishta Adhikari classroom, next classroom, Madhyam Adhikari. You spend 5 years here and then you go to the next classroom. It's not like that. One could have so many shades. You understand? Shades of overlap between these three categories. So there could be a Kanishta with some Madhyam qualities. There could be a Madhyam with some Kanishta qualities. There could be a Madhyam with some Uttam qualities. There could be an Uttam with some Madhyam qualities. You could have a whole range of permutations and combinations. So I don't know so much of this mathematics, but all of you engineers know. So if you have these three, how many permutations, combinations can you have of these three? What? That's the point. Unlimited. You could have unlimited permutations, combinations of these three. So then if you have all these unlimited permutations, combinations, whom can you label as belonging to one category? It's so difficult. And so, as far as association is concerned, another important reason for the discussion, besides our own self-assessment and self-progress, is also to discriminate for the sake of association. So, if somebody is having too gross kanishta mentality and behavior, then yes, one can keep a little safe distance. So that's also there. But in most cases, when it gets more, when we have all serious devotees practicing, then it's very difficult to judge who's at what level. Some discrimination can be there, definitely. But essentially, the whole discussion is for one's own practice. And of course, the factor of discrimination is also there. But one should always be careful, and one should also confirm from higher authorities. So if one has a doubt about a certain Vaishnava as to what is his standing in devotional service, rather than speculate, best is to confirm from higher authorities. All right? Is that clear?
And for self-assessment, we should try to see the qualities which are mentioned by Prabhupada.
Yes, by Shastra. This detailed discussion is there on the topic. Something else? Any other clarifications of the topic? Yes, sir.
Prabhuji, like you told that a committed Shiksha Guru will be only one. So even like if we see counselors, facilitators, so it becomes multiple. So is it like that because counselor has appointed that facilitator, so he is counselor's representative, so in that way it is only one? Means it is like,
if that is the system, that's correct.
Okay.
I don't know what's the system that's followed, but if that is the system, that you have a counselor and he appoints a facilitator, then yes, then well, so the commitment is to the facilitator and to the counselor, and so it's all authorized, right? That's the way it functions. Somebody has authorized the whole system, isn't it? Yes or no?
yes.
Yeah, so if that's the system that has been authorized, just follow the system. Any other question? Yes, there are.
Like how to manage this our spiritual in between this managerial authority and the spiritual authority is there, so how to
We had the whole discussion on that. We had skits, we had everything. Madhaprabhu, you have your hand up, or? So is this topic clear? We have spent an entire class to revise these concepts. Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, what should be qualifications, what should be advancements? Is it clear? Only for 2-3 it seems to be clear. Of course, if it's not clear, we are still there to try and help you, to serve you. But at least I hope there is a general clarification. Okay? Fine. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.